Hey guys, it's Julie from Extra Fangirl, and today I'm going to be doing a little haul for you guys, even though it's not really little. It's actually a pretty big haul. Like, I did not realize how many books I've bought over the past 2 months. Yeah, so this is going to be my January and February haul, and I got like 11 books. Oh god, what was I thinking? Alright, I'm just going to show them to you. I don't even remember like the order I got these books. I'm kind of putting them into when I think I got them. So we're going to say that the first book I got this month, because I got this pretty early, is Passenger by Alexandra Bracken, and I am almost done with this book. I have, what page am I on? I'm on 448. I think I have like 30 pages left, so I'm probably either going to finish this tonight or tomorrow night. I'm excited! So this book is about Edda, who is a young violin prodigy who really has her whole life planned out. She's from modern day New York, and she is kind of on the eve of her debut. She's really on a very set path, and then all of a sudden she is thrown into this world of time travel that her mother has hidden from her. And so she is thrust back to 1776, I think, right? Yeah, we're gonna go with that. It's around that time. American Revolution era, aka Hamilton era. What? Hamilton! Yeah, so she's thrust back into that time where she meets the lovely Nicholas Carter, who's very attractive, mind you. And Nick is pretty much just trying to get free of this dangerous family, the Ironwoods, who kind of have to control over the whole time traveling world. Ironwood has a task for Edda, and it's Edda and Nick traveling throughout many different eras and places and just going to the most amazing places and trying to do what they gotta do. I don't know what I'm saying, but it's really good. It was a bit slow for me. I don't know. I'm really enjoying the book and I really like the characters, but it's taken me a while to get through it. One, I am a slow reader, and two, there's just been something about it that like has taken me a while. So I will definitely talk about that more when I review this book moderately soon, because I'm a procrastinator. I'm just gonna put that right there. Next up, we have Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen in this beautiful Barnes & Noble collector's edition. It's got like this like felt cover, and it's just really nice, and it comes with a bookmark and the pages, and yeah. I bought this book because I wanted to read Pride and Prejudice before I see Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, because, you know, it's gonna be a really faithful adaptation of it. I assume that you guys probably know what this book's about, because I like don't know how to describe it. I don't even really know what it's about. It's about Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth Bennet and their love story. That's all I know. And Matt Smith and Lily James are in the movie, and so I want to see it. And also, of course, it's a classic, so I really want to read it, and it's just absolutely beautiful. Why are people texting me? I'm so popular. It's a total joke. I put it on the carpet so that when it rings, it won't, it's a group chat, but hopefully, you know, science on the carpet, it won't be as loud as on the wood. I don't know. Next up, I have A Treasury of Irish and Very, but what did I say? No, that's not it. I'm really out of it right now. I'm out of breath from the last video I filmed, to be honest. This is A Treasury of Irish, Fairy, and Folk Tales, and I actually have this like little baby version of it, but I didn't realize that there was a big version of it, so I bought the big version of it. Don't judge me. Yeah, this is just like an anthology, a collection of a bunch of Irish fairy and folk tales, and it's pretty interesting. I've read a couple of them so far, and I'm like a quarter Irish, so I wanted to explore it and hopefully gain some inspiration for writing from it, because they have very, very rich fairy and folklore. So I think it'll also just be really interesting, you know? And it's beautiful, so that helps. Yeah, this little pile's not gonna last very long. Where are we gonna go next? Next, I ordered a bunch of writing references, because I finished A Darker Shade of Magic, and I really wanted, and I was kind of like inspired to write this like little Victorian story that I have not written, because that's what happens. I get ideas and then I don't do anything about them. But so I bought a couple of writing books. The first one I have here is The Elements of Style by William Strunk Jr., and E.B. White. E.B. White wrote Charlotte's Web. like, it's this really small book, but I was like looking up books on writing, and like this one just kept coming up. They say it's like the little Bible of the writing world. So I bought it, and it's very tiny. I was so surprised when it was this small. It's literally like about like the craft of writing, and I think it'll be very cool to read. And it's short, which is nice. Next I have The Writer's Guide to Everyday Life in Regency in Victorian England from 1811 to 1901 by Kristine Hughes, and this is exactly what it sounds like. And this is just like for, you know, if I want to write a Victorian book for reference on what it was like to live in that era, in that place, you know, what technology was used, how they did things differently, just so that I can kind of write a more authentic story. And similar to the last one, I also have How to Be a Victorian, a Dawn-to-Dusk Guide to Victorian Life by Ruth Goodman. And this, it's, you know, the same deal as the last one, just a guide to Victorian life, a reference to her writing that time period in that place. These past 3 books I'm just going to kind of go through leisurely, you know, read them when I want to, whatevs. But I think they should be interesting to learn the differences, you know, even if I don't end up writing the story, just to learn a bit more about history, and that way I have a bit more knowledge if another Victorian story comes into my mind. So yeah. The next 2 are from, I think I got these last weekend. Yeah, these are from last weekend's trip to Barnes & Noble. I also did a trip to Barnes & Noble yesterday, which I will show you after these next 2 books. So first I have Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wein? I don't know. Yeah, this is about a, I believe, British female spy during World War II who is captured behind enemy lines in a Nazi-occupied France, and her code name is Verity. And this, I've heard a lot of good things about this book. I was actually talking to Prad Bookline about this book. She's read it and she liked it, and I've been meaning to read it, and so, you know, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pick it up, because I think it's gonna be a good book, and I'm actually really interested in reading it. It's a really interesting time period. Kind of reminds me of like Agent Carter, you know, like badass female spy during World War II. I think that this is an interesting aspect of World War II, because there were female spies, and we don't really learn that much about them, because we really don't learn that much about like spies, the espionage side of things, because there are probably a lot of confidential files on that. But I think that this will be really interesting to read. On that same trip to Barnes & Noble, I got Deadpool Killlustrated, Butchering Stories from Literature's Finest Authors by Cullen, Bunn, and Matteo, Lolli. I went to Barnes & Noble with Sarah from Sarah the Story Dweller, and I pretty much just texted her like, hey, I want to go to Barnes & Noble to get some Deadpool stuff. And she was like, sure. So I got this, and I also got my little Deadpool Funko Pop figure, because, oh, go back. Because I had just seen Deadpool, and so I wanted to read a bit of his comics, and they're just so expensive though, so like I didn't know where to start, and I didn't want to get like a $30 like big collection. So this is essentially just Deadpool put in like classic literature, and I think it's gonna be really, really funny, because, you know, like obviously on the front you see it's like Moby Dick, and on the back it's like Huck Finn or Tom Sawyer or something. So I think they have like Sherlock Holmes in it. Let's see, Tom Sawyer, Little Woman, Scrooge, Gulliver, Sherlock Holmes. That's gonna be a good one. So yeah, I think that this is gonna be really, really just fun to read, and it's short and tiny, and it's got really cool illustrations. So yeah, and I really want to meet Deadpool in his comic book form, because I absolutely loved the movie. And then I went to Barnes & Noble again yesterday, because I have a problem. Okay, I have like a reason to go. I needed a book for school, and I needed to exchange a book that I pre-ordered. So let's start off with the book that I got for school. That is Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. I think I'm saying her name right. Ooh, 75th anniversary edition. Zora Neale Hurston is like the first female African-American author, and this book apparently is supposed to be really good. I'm about like on I finished chapter 5. I think. I'm on page like 50. From what I've been able to gather, it's a story about a African-American woman named Jamie, who she's gone through a couple marriages. She's kind of a bit unconventional, and it takes place in like I think the 1930s. And of course there's the issue of racism, but from what I've gathered, from what I've read so far, it seems to be more so focused on judgment from within the African-American community rather than you know, white people being racist against blacks, which is interesting, and I think I read that that's kind of what she writes about a lot. So it's an interesting read, and it's a classic. It's said to be her most important piece of work. It's a tough book to read though, because it's written from a like all-knowing narrator person. I forget the word for that. That part of it is written like, you know, like how most people speak, and just it's easier to read, and it's written very beautifully too. But the dialogue is written in very heavy dialect, and the way my teacher put it, it's not a book that you can skim, because you really gotta focus when you're reading the dialogue, because it's just, everything is spelt how it's said. It's spelt phonetically, and it takes a while to kind of get used to it. I've kind of like gotten into a bit of a groove where I'm like translating it into like how I speak in my head as I read. So it takes a while to kind of get used to that, and you have to pay attention when you're reading the dialogue so that you are sure that you're understanding it properly. This is a book that we're reading for school, so I should probably be finished with it then in a couple weeks, whenever we're supposed to finish it for school. But yeah, this is supposed to be a really important piece to read, and so far it's pretty good. It's, you know, it's a little bit of a tough read. Next up, I have a book that I'm really excited about, and that is Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. So this is actually the book that I had to exchange, because I pre-ordered the book and it came damaged, like, not a lot, but like enough to make me want to exchange it. Like, there was a little scratch up here and a little tear down here. This book is the sequel to A Darker Shade of Magic, which is one of my favorite books. So the premise is that there are these alternate versions of London. There is Grey London, which is like our London. Well, I should preface this by saying it takes place in Victorian times, which is why I have all these Victorian books. Yeah, so there is Grey London, which is our London in Victorian times. There is Red London, which is a London filled with magic and just really alive and vibrant. There is White London, where there's magic also, but it's very dark, and there are these two creepy pale twin king-queen rulers that are really just creepy and scary, and the magic there is just, it's all about power, and it's a scary world. And then there is Black London, which we don't talk about, because Black London's gone. And it is about Kell, who is the envoy from Red London, and he is in Antari, which essentially he can travel between the Londons, and there are only two Antari. There's him and Holland, who is from White London. And so Kell, while he is on his diplomatic missions, he kind of just talks between all the monarchs. He also does a little bit of smuggling on the side, and essentially he smuggles something that he wasn't supposed to, and shit goes down. And then there's the amazing Lila Baird, who I'm guessing this is, and Lila is just a really badass girl from our London, and she's very funny. She's really tough, and she's really interesting, and they have a very cool relationship, and she kind of just forces Kell to take her along on this journey because she just wants an adventure. And yeah, it's really, like, A Dark Shade of Magic is one of my favorite books, and I cannot wait to read this book now. So they're also like just so beautiful on their covers. Like just look at how well they go together. Just, Next, I have a book that I've been meaning to get. I'm not sure when I'm going to read it, but you know what? I wanted to get it, and I had 20% off coupon, even though I didn't use it on this book. But whatever. That is Black Widow Forever Red by Margaret Stohl. This is the origin story for Black Widow, and it's canon. Like, it's like the legit origin story from Black Widow from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's really cool now that they're like branching out into books. Essentially, instead of making like a Black Widow origin movie, there's now a book about it. I kind of want a Black Widow standalone movie too, but I mean, now it doesn't have to be an origin story. You can read the book, get your origin story here, and they can make a standalone Black Widow movie about something else, you know? Kind of with the timeline of the films. And that's probably not going to happen. It's not right. This book came out like late 2015, and I've been meaning to get it, and I see it every time I go to Barnes & Noble. I'm like, no, I can put it off. But you know what? Yesterday I was like, I'm gonna get it. And so I got it. And last, but certainly not least, I have this very interesting book. The Explorers Guild by John Baird and Kevin Costner. This book, I started it yesterday, as you can see by the bookmark. Let me just say, I usually dog-ear my books, and I was like, this one, I ain't dog-earing because it's too beautiful. First off, look at the cover. Look at the dust jacket. Just take a good look at it and appreciate it. Okay. Now I'm going to take the dust jacket off. Oh, what is this? Look at that. Look at that. It's beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. Volume 1. It looks like it's a freaking encyclopedia, alright? Open it. Look at that. Look at that. And then, look at the pages. So, I've had my eye on this book for a while. Every time I go to Barnes & Noble, I see it. And I'm like, that's a really good looking book, you know? You know when you see a good looking book and you're like, that's a really nice looking book. It would look really good in my shelf. And then, the other day I was like, you know, I got a 20% coupon. It's kind of an expensive book. I should buy at least one expensive book. I'm exchanging the one book. I'm getting the other book for school. I can buy a couple books for myself. So I bought myself Black Widow Forever Read, and I was like, you know, I think I'm gonna look at this. So I picked up the book, right? And so we come to the first page. That beautiful picture on one side, this text on the other. Allow me to just read you. Just the first paragraph. Gentle reader, the cities of the world, or the decent ones, I should say, have in common a certain unassuming door. And you may find it, if you are hunting, in the quieter districts with an eye to things that are not exactly hidden, but designed rather to discourage notice. The tourist literature will carry nothing about it, and it will be so familiar to the mind of the local that he would not dream of pointing you there. But I can tell you, by way of marking one out for you, that there are typically 3 things on or about this door: a flagstaff, a weather-effaced coat of arms, and always some representation of the Latin motto, Cognoscere. How you say to know in Italian. So essentially, this book tells the story of the Explorers Guild, and it's written in second person, just so cool. Really, it talks to you. It's essentially like an introduction to the Explorers Guild as if you are someone that might be joining it, and it's told through a amazing combination of prose and like graphic novel. The prose is a little difficult to read, to be honest. It really sounds like it was written 100 years ago. Which is really cool that they were able to achieve that, because this was published in 2015. This is going to be a really good, unique read, and I think it's going to be really different. Alright guys, so those are all of my books. Here they are in all their gorgeousness. Look at them, they're so nice. Yeah, this is a good haul for me. So yeah, those are the books that I got. I am super excited to read each and every one of them. Let me know if you've heard of any of them, if you've read any of them. Thank you guys for watching. All of my social media links are down below. I will see you next time. Bye. I am out of breath. Filming 2 videos back to back, it's a challenge, you know? Really takes a lot out of you. Oh god, I'm sweating from holding these. Shit. We're not gonna stack them. Oh, I tried stacking them. It didn't work. It's way too many. I'm very weak. Oh my god, why is my stomach rumbling? Oh, I'm like sweating. I don't know what's going on.